这个前头说了这个 books and newspapers， 我们下面新开一个话题，前面就不再管他们了。我们新开一个话题是 magazines。A show of hands, how many of you who read magazines nowadays? Who still reads magazines nowadays? Doesn't matter whether it's print version or digital versions. I have a feeling, my feeling may not be backed up by statistics, but according to the rumor, according to what is on the street, magazines, not only magazines, but traditional print media, such like newspaper, like books, and of course magazines, have all been suffering a decline for 1 or 2 decades, especially in China. I can't remember the last time I read a Chinese magazine, a magazine in Chinese language. I can't remember. When was the last time I sat down with a hard copy of magazine or a digital version of magazine? Only very occasionally I read some English magazines, the literary so-called either news, politics, or literary magazines, very infrequently. Let's take a look at what is going on with the publishing of magazines in the United States. The United States is experiencing a similar trend of the decline of print media, including the publishing of magazine, but they are having a better time. The print magazine or digital magazines, the industry of magazine publishing is not as dire, is not as hopeless as the magazine publishing industry in China is experiencing. Nowadays, 229 million American magazine readers interact with magazines. The funny word is interact. What do you do? What can a reader do with a magazine? Have we ever thought about that? Except for reading, of course, reading make up the majority of activities when readers and the magazines are interacting with each other. But what else can we do with a magazine nowadays except reading, apart from reading? Play games, listen to it, buy things on it? Should have been diversified. The things that people can do and people do with magazines has been becoming various, has been becoming multiple since the old traditional print media has become out of date by and by, and especially with the advancement of digital electronic computer technology. People can do things, especially with the digital versions of magazines and digital platforms, mobile digital platform or internet versions of magazines. We can do more than reading. Apart from that, 91% of American adults, the percentage is simply amazing. It's simply very impressive. 91% of American adults consume magazines, either in print form or in the digital form. And then the proportion grows to a higher 95% when the younger generation, when younger people are considered, people younger than 25 years of age. And American readers read on average 7.3 print magazines a month. Americans read more than 7 magazines a month on average per person. The audience, the American readers are as diverse as possible, as diverse as the data remains near constant across all different ethnicities, for the white, for the black, for the native, for the immigrants, across the spectrum, people read us similarly. The scale of magazine consumption remains constant, remains similar across the spectrum of different ethnicities. And additionally, magazines tend to have an educated and affluent audience. This is even more interesting and most important to whom? Who would think this readership of educated and affluent audience is most important? Of course, the advertisers, those people, those businesses, companies who spend dollars on advertising in the magazines, printed versions or digital versions. Additionally, magazines tend to have an educated and affluent audience. As these people, affluent and educated class, prefer the printed or digital versions of magazines among the household with a net worth of over $250,000 US. The typical middle class, upper middle class US families, US household tend to consume more magazines than otherwise.